to offer 10 million says that there might be some truth to this, because I'm not offering nobody no 10 million if I know I didn't do anything. I think the 10 million didn't work because the pimp need his cut. You know, just allegedly. I'm not saying there is a pimp, right? Let me give you. It's just that niggas doing all this curling. Listen. Go ahead if you want. Go ahead if you want. Yeah, I see you doing your dips and all that. Go ahead. I know you on set number 8. Go ahead, nigga.
I know one thing. If you're 54, you have no reason to be talking to a 19-year-old. She's 22 now. Shannon is 56. I'm so glad that audio of Monique went viral.
That's what Shannon is
About choking her, and she was like, I don't want to be choked. And he was like, yes, you do. But he's claiming it was an edited audio file. It's a lot of different parts. And I know for the audience, I'm summing it up. If you want to know more details, it is online. But Maize.
His new, and also Mace's new audio came out yesterday. He said, you want a big back, I put a big black baby.
Hey, I only heard from 2 teams. Guess what the 2 teams that called me, Ocho, say, what's your phone number? Where you going to be?
Who that?
Shut the next door. Cincinnati Bengals was one.
Hey.
And the Seattle Seahawks.
And you ain't go to neither one of them.
They ain't want your boy.
Hey.
Foremost. Secondly, she 20. How old? 92?
50, so I'm going to get his exact age.
You got to know what's going on. Not saying she don't fuck with you. Listen, I remember
56.
56. I remember Delicious from Flavor of Love wanted Unc. She was on his body too. Unc stay in shape. He popping, etc. It's a lot going on. Especially he has a newfound light.
Shannon Sharpe's name has been all over the headlines, and not for his sports takes or slick suits. From disturbing allegations to resurfaced lawsuits, secret settlements, leaked texts, and even explosive audio recordings, the layers just keep unraveling. But here's the twist. It's not just one woman, one case, or one mistake. Internet detectives have gone full CIA mode, and what they're pulling out of the shadows is wild. Buckle up, this isn't just a scandal. This could be the beginning of Shannon Sharpe's downfall. Looks like this Shannon Sharpe drama just got way deeper than anyone expected. And guess who just jumped in? Maize. And he's not here just for commentary. He's convinced that Shannon could actually end up behind bars. According to Maize, the civil lawsuit isn't even the real threat. He believes it's just the first move, a setup to drain Shannon's money early on, so when the criminal case finally hits, he won't have the cash to fight back with a top-tier legal team. And honestly, Maize might be onto something. More and more women are now stepping forward with new claims, and each one sounds worse than the last. If things keep going this way, Shannon could lose everything. His deals, his podcast, his media gigs, even the UNC title that so many young men looked up to. So now people are wondering, is this a takedown, or is Shannon's past finally catching up to him? And where did all these new accusers even come from? Let's rewind a bit.
Shannon Sharpe, they definitely offered me money to do that interview.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I turned it down.
I was about to say that's a lie.
Yeah.
Okay, no, because the reason why I said that was because someone had tweeted Shannon.
It wasn't a lot, but go ahead.
No. Well, someone had tweeted and said, hey, how come Boosie doesn't do Shannon Sharpe? And he goes, well, we don't pay for interviews, no disrespect to anyone who does. And he publicly...
Because the pimp need his cut. You know, just allegedly. I'm not saying there is a pimp, right? Let me give you... It's just an idea. This is just an idea, right? So if there's a pimp, right? Why y'all keep laughing? I know this is why they flew me back in. They wanted to know my take. But listen, all jokes aside, if the girl said I want 10, this may be the lawyer, right? Just hypothetically, all of these things, right?
And 10 minutes and you reducing it to that 30, it must have been WWE in that joint. Elbow off the top of the bed, off the thrower against the dresser. You white little come here, suck big black. You talking about you want nigga. I get that part. I get it. Because I tell white bitches you want that nigga, but it's consensual. They agree.
Everyone had something to say about the Shannon situation. Some folks were defending him, others were dragging him. But for Maize, the lawsuit was just surface level. The real problem? The criminal case brewing in the background, and he didn't hold back when he talked about it. During an episode of It Is What It Is with Cameron, Maize called out the fact that Shannon offered his accuser $10 million to stay quiet. He questioned why no one told Shannon that this would only make him look more guilty. Because let's be real, when someone drops that kind of money while facing serious accusations, people start asking questions. Maize went further, saying that offering $10 million might mean there's some truth to the accusations. He said he'd never pay someone that kind of money if he knew he didn't do anything wrong.
On the side, he tried to offer the victim $10 million. She declined it. Now they're trying to take 50. She declined it.
For him to offer 10 million says that there might be some truth to this, because I'm not offering nobody no 10 million if I know I didn't do anything. I think the 10 million didn't work because the pimp need his cut. You know, just allegedly. I'm not saying there is a pimp, right? Let me give you. It's just an idea. This is just an idea, right? Why y'all keep laughing? All jokes aside, oh man,
he said a little white girl put a big black baby in you or something to that effect.
I'm not for this, but it would have been easier with a black girl. He wouldn't have been paying what he's paying. I just know that much.
Then Maize added something that made the studio laugh, but low-key sounded shady. He joked that maybe the $10 million didn't work because a third party wanted their own cut. He wasn't calling anyone a pimp directly, but he threw out a theory. What if someone else was involved, pulling strings in the background? He explained it like this. Maybe the accuser had her own number in mind, but someone else, hypothetically, wanted a cut too. Maize painted a picture of Shannon saying something like, "That $10 million, that's my 10. You need to get your own number. We already agreed on mine." It sounded like a joke at first, but the more he talked, the more serious it got. Maize clearly believed there was more going on behind the scenes, and that this wasn't a simple case of one woman versus one man.
He's paying. I just know that much. Y'all think I be laughing? I'm not trying to see. This is why I don't talk. Y'all don't think I'm trying. I'm not trying to make light. This is a serious matter, right? This is a real serious matter. Let's make it serious, because I'm not trying to joke. People would say that a man only end up here when he's being arrogant, right? When people get a bunch of money, they think they could do whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying? I've been rich. I'm rich. Killer's rich. He's been rich. You know, a lot of people been rich and they still are rich, but I don't think we've ever gotten to the place where we're takers. You know, this is what I'm getting at. And for him to offer 10 million says that there might be some truth to this, because I'm not offering nobody no 10 million.
So here's where things start to get real dark. In the court documents, the woman accusing Shannon is listed as Jane Doe. But of course, the internet did what the internet does, and it didn't take long before sleuths figured out her real identity. She's Gabriella Zuniga, a 21-year-old OnlyFans model, better known online as Gabby. Now, Gabby's claims, they're serious. She said she first met Shannon at a gym in LA when she was just 19, and he was around 54. According to her, Shannon made the first move, and before long, they were in a relationship. But this wasn't some sweet love story.
I know one thing. If you're 54, you have no reason to be talking to a 19-year-old. She's 22 now. Shannon is 56. I'm so glad that audio of Monique went viral yesterday. It's true. Sit your old ass down and go find somebody your age and build a family with them.
But all I'm going to say is when you see all these white people do it, Leo DiCaprio, Seinfeld, Hugh Hefner, Joaquin Phoenix, John Mayer, when they date young girls, nobody says anything. I'm not saying it's right.
As I said yesterday, men, we need stability and we need D-discipline.
Right.
You gotta have D-discipline.
9 years old, man. Might put in the hospital. I don't get in shape. I be sitting at the dust like this, doing this fucking shit every day.
Gabby described Shannon as controlling and manipulative. He always wanted to know where she was, expected her to be at his beck and call, and allegedly got more and more toxic as time went on. Things really blew up when Shannon accidentally went live on Instagram during an intimate moment with another woman. Gabby was humiliated and tried to break up with him, but Shannon, she claimed, wasn't ready to let her go. He managed to convince her to let him come over to talk things out. Except once he was inside, he allegedly became harsh and forced himself on her, even while she cried and begged him to stop. And it didn't end there. In January 2025, he showed up again. This time, he said he had gifts, but according to Gabby, the visit turned into another essay. She claimed he ignored her when she asked him to use protection and even violated her from behind without consent. Afterward, she sent him a gut-wrenching text saying she cried after he left because she had begged him to stop and to use protection, but he didn't listen. She told him no means no. But here's where it gets messier. After Gabby filed the lawsuit, Shannon's lawyer tried to flip the narrative. He released a bunch of graphic texts, allegedly sent by Gabby, maybe hoping it would make her look like she was into all of it. One message from October 2023 reportedly said she wanted Shannon to choke her with a dog collar during an intimate act.
23, where Jane Doe seemingly messages Sharpe, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're bleeping me. Okay, you fill in the blank. The NY Post reporting on other messages allegedly from Jane Doe, like tie me up and do bad things to me. Now, Busby responded and said that these messages are from before the alleged assaults. And really, a woman can say yes 99 times, but that one time she says no, that's all that matters. And in that vein,
then there was another from New Year's Day 2025, just days before the second alleged incident, saying he must have missed her big juicy behind and jokingly priced each cheek at $25,000.
You white little come here, suck big black talking about you want nigga. I get that part. I get it. Because I tell white bitches you want that nigga, but it's consensual. They agree. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I've been doing this in a different realm from him. I never made it as a professional athlete. I've been out here shaking and juggling these bitches since 20 years old. I know what you up to. I know when a bitch bait me in a text message to say some dumb shit. I ain't writing it back. You right. And I'm not writing nothing.
And it didn't stop there. In other leaked messages, Gabby allegedly wrote that she wanted Shannon to finish inside her, said wild things about putting her tongue in places we won't repeat here, and even said he should put a baby in her, a very specific kind of baby, and that he'd be stuck with it for life. Now, instead of helping Shannon's case, releasing these texts only made everything feel worse. People started asking, what was the point of that? Because if anything, it made the whole thing feel even more disturbing.
Where do we start? The girl is 19. He's how old?
54 or 56, one of the
50. Let's just say 50, in the late 50s, right? So he's in his late 50s. She 19. This is a lot. This is a lot because I know when I'm hearing people, they're like, "Well, this wouldn't have happened with a black girl." Let's start right there. With a black girl, he probably would have paid child support. There's a lot of things that it would have been easier. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not for this, but it would have been easier with a black.
But just when you thought this couldn't get any darker, Gabby's lawyer, Tony Busby, dropped audio recordings of Shannon allegedly threatening her. In the first clip, Shannon sounded cold and aggressive. He told Gabby that whatever he said would just make her mad, and she'd probably hang up. She responded that she wouldn't hang up, but he just said, it is what it is. Then the vibe shifted fast. Shannon reportedly snapped and asked her why she was acting like a D, saying he didn't want to deal with her anymore. Gabby, trying to stand her ground, told him not to manipulate her, and that's when Shannon allegedly lost it. He warned her that if she said that one more time, he would choke her when he saw her, not in a joking way, in a serious, threatening tone. Gabby said she didn't want to be choked, but Shannon allegedly replied that she did, and that she didn't even have a choice. Just sit with that for a second.
Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a me now, so...
I don't want to be... Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
So what I heard
something
was
about choking her, and she was like, I don't want to be choked. And he was like, yes, you do. but he's claiming it was an edited audio file. It's a lot of different parts. And I know for the audience, I'm summing it up. If you want to know more details, it is online. But Maize.
His new, and also Mace's new audio came out yesterday. He said, you want a big back, I put a big black baby in you.
Man.
He said, a little white girl put a big black baby in you or something to that effect.
Wow. This is a lot. Where do we start? The girl is 19. Yes. He's how old?
54 or 56, one of the
50. Let's just say 50, in the late 50s, right?
This wasn't just gossip anymore. These recordings, if proven legitimate, show a much darker side to the story, and Shannon's entire image is now hanging by a thread. Now, just when you thought the first audio was already bad enough, boom, a second clip dropped. And this one, even more chilling. It wasn't just a one-time moment of anger. Shannon sounded way too comfortable threatening Gabby, like this was just how he talked behind closed doors. But hold up, the internet started doing what it always does. People began whispering that maybe these clips had been edited. Maybe they were spliced together to make Shannon look worse than he really was. And that theory, it gained traction fast. This brought Maize back into the spotlight. He had already said something didn't set right with Gabby turning down that $10 million offer. Think about it. $10 million is a lot of money, especially when cases like this are so hard to prove. Public opinion can flip quickly, and it's easy to frame a young OnlyFans model as someone chasing clout, trying to tear down a successful man for a check.
That nigga's doing all this curling. Listen. Go ahead if you want. go ahead if you want. Yeah, I see you doing your dips and all that. Go ahead. I know you on set number 8. Go ahead, nigga.
82.
50. So I'm gonna get his
like,
exact
oh,
age.
you gotta know what's going on. Not saying she don't fuck with you. Listen, I remember
56.
56. I remember Delicious from Flavor of Love wanted Unc. She was on his body too. Unc stay in shape. He popping, etc. It's a lot going on. Especially he has a newfound light. You know what I'm saying?
So Maize floated another theory. What if Gabby wasn't the only one in play here? What if there were people in the background pulling strings, trying to get their own cut of the settlement? And the timing? Well, it just so happened that all of this drama started exploding right as Shannon was about to close a massive $100 million deal for his podcast. Maize might have thrown that theory out in a half-joking tone, but the internet, they weren't laughing. Commentators started connecting the dots and asking, is Shannon being set up? One voice on the podcast said they hoped this whole thing was just some twisted hoax because the timing was too convenient. Shannon was about to level up financially, and like clockwork, the drama hit. They said that when you're about to secure life-changing money, that's when the haters and the snakes start creeping in. Another guest chimed in, saying they knew bringing this up would spark debate, but still felt it needed to be said. He joked that Shannon should have known better, telling his co-host Killer that you just can't pick these kinds of girls. They even mentioned other athletes and celebrities who got caught up in the same way, all of them losing major bags over IG or OnlyFans models. When someone asked which platform Gabby was on, they confirmed it was OnlyFans, and that she ran her own paid account.
Monique and Cat Williams tried to warn Shannon.
This dating thing, Mo, is different now. When you and I...
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
And I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
Then Maize dropped the real warning. Shannon had walked into the same trap countless other men had. This lawsuit, it wasn't about justice, it was strategy. He believed it was meant to wear Shannon down, make him spend a fortune on legal fees, and break him before the real case even started. He hinted that what Shannon was going through now looked a lot like what Diddy's going through, starting with one civil suit, then another, and then suddenly it's a federal case. According to Maize, that's the pattern. He warned men watching the show. Just because something starts as a civil suit doesn't mean that it stays that way. Civil suits can turn criminal real fast, and most people don't even see it coming until it's too late, especially if they've got money. Maize kept going, saying he's seen this happen to rappers, athletes, and plenty of rich men who thought that they were untouchable. First, someone comes for a small cut of your wealth. Then they circle back and hit you with, "You did this too."
Yeah, this is just an idea, right? So if there's a pimp, right? Why y'all keep laughing? I know this is why they flew me back in. They wanted to know my take. But listen, all jokes aside, if the girl said I want 10, this may be the lawyer, right? Just hypothetically, all of these things, right? And the guy who put her on to Shannon was like, you didn't even know him. I put you on him. You didn't even know who that was. You was asking about college.
You was asking about college.
Yeah, this is your Thurgood Marshall right here. Him right there. For real? Yeah, that nigga worth a lot of money. You know how guys be, and they pushed her on her. And then she said 10. He was like, 10 is my 10. You got to put in your number for yourself. That don't have nothing to do with mine. 10 is mine. That's what we discussed. I'm just telling you, I ain't been out the streets that long.
And the scary part, once one woman steps up, it almost guarantees someone else will follow. Not because they always have a story, but because they see what's happening. They see someone else getting paid. And in some cases, even if they've got nothing, they try to cash in anyway. But if they do have proof, a screenshot, a text, a voice memo, that's when it gets real messy. And Maize said it plain. Most of these guys don't even know how to respond anymore.
Shannon Sharpe, they definitely offered me money to do that interview.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I turned it down.
I was about to say that's a lie.
Yeah.
Okay, no, because the reason why I said that was because someone had tweeted Shannon.
It wasn't a lot, but go ahead.
No. Well, someone had tweeted, say, hey, how come Boosie doesn't do Shannon Sharpe? And he goes, well, we don't pay for interviews, no disrespect to anyone who does. And he publicly tweeted that. That's why I assumed.
Well, it almost like not paying a nigga. It was a few thousand, but the point is, I didn't even want any money from Shannon Sharpe. What happened for me with Shannon Sharpe is that I wanted a commitment that if I did his show, that he'd do my show, and whoever handles his stuff is like, we can't give you a date. He could do your show, but when you get there to his show, y'all can discuss.
Yeah.
I'm like, what you talking about? This shit don't even make no sense. After you get what he want, the nigga's curve.
Yeah, I hate, and by the way, I hate when people do that. You know what I mean? Because, like, for example, like Stephen A. Smith, they always reach out to us to use our content on his YouTube channel, like, you know, because we did an interview that he wants to cover. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, have him call me. We can establish a relationship. I'm not asking to be on his show, but let's establish a relationship, and then you can use my content.
Right.
Oh, he's busy right now. Right. So don't use my content.
Right.
That's the end of that.
Right.
People don't like to do business.
If you want, I'll put that relationship together. That's what I do.
Okay.
Steve makes me a couple times a month.
Okay.
If that's something you want to do. Well, you got.
Let's be clear. None of this means Shannon's automatically innocent or guilty. Nobody's saying these men were forced into doing what they're accused of. So no, this isn't some sympathy tour. But let's be honest. If even half of these rumors are real, Shannon Sharpe's world is about to flip upside down. And here's the kicker. This isn't just Twitter talk anymore. It's not some Reddit thread or comment section drama. These accusations, they've stepped out of the algorithm and into real life. Gabby's lawsuit alone was a storm, but now Shannon's got way more to worry about because the skeletons in his closet, they're getting dragged into the sunlight one by one. And you already know what happens when internet detectives get involved. Once they lock in, it's game over. They go deeper than the CIA. So once Shannon's name started trending, online sleuths started going full archive mode, digging through his past like it was their 9 to 5. And guess what they found? An old buried allegation from way back during Shannon's time at FS1's Undisputed. Word is he was accused of choking a female production assistant right there in the workplace. And no, this didn't just fade away. According to one insider, Fox and Shannon allegedly settled with the woman for a few $100,000. No lawsuit was ever filed, just handled quietly. They say the legal team worked overtime to bury it, and they almost got away with it, because if you try to search for that story now, it's like it never existed, practically wiped from the internet.
He started on, what is that shit with Skip he was doing? Whatever that shit was called, Undisputed, about 6-7 years ago. So you have Undisputed. Then he has the success with Club Shay Shay. Then he has his other shows that he do on the internet. Then not only that, you leave Undisputed and go to First Take. So when I first seen Shannon on the internet arguing, going back and forth with certain people, you know, even me and him had a couple words here and there. Nothing crazy. I got mad love for Uncle.
Gentlemen, this is officially my last day at work. After 7 years, The train stops for Shannon Sharpe and Undisputed right here. And over 7 years, I've made a lot of friends, and I'd like to take the time now to thank some of these people. First, I'd like to thank Fox and FS1 for giving me this opportunity, for believing in me, and allowed me to share this stage with a young man that I've sat across from for 7 years.
But let's be real, nothing completely disappears online. When that story started gaining traction again, Shannon's team went into full-on damage control. They put out a statement saying there was no choking incident on set. They claimed that Shannon and a few co-workers were just involved in some light physical interaction in a playful context. And Fox Sports, they apparently chose to handle it privately. But come on, what does that even mean? Playful physical interaction? That's a wild way to explain someone being accused of choking a colleague. And unfortunately for Shannon, that's not the only ghost from the past creeping up. Another case came crawling back, this one involving his ex, Michelle Evans. Michelle filed a defamation lawsuit against Shannon in 2023, but that wasn't all. She also had a restraining order against him. In her legal filings, she said they'd been together for nearly 10 years, but things ended in 2010 after she confronted him for cheating. That's when, according to her, things took a terrifying turn. Michelle claims Shannon got harsh. She said he forced her to perform oral intimacy, then pushed her onto the bed and essayed her, all while telling her he was going to make sure no other man would ever want her again. Sound familiar? That same exact line popped up years later in Gabby's case. So yeah, this might be deeper than anyone imagined. Now, here's the part that really gave people chills. The line Shannon allegedly used during Michelle's essay, it was the exact same line Gabby said he told her to. According to Gabby, in October 2024, not long after she tried to cut things off, Shannon showed up to her apartment. He said he wanted to talk, but once he was inside, things allegedly took a dark turn. She claimed he forced her to perform oral intimacy, and during that, he told her she had disrespected him so badly that he was going to punish her. She said he told her he would make sure no other man would ever want her again. Then it got worse. Gabby said he essayed her from behind, and while doing it, he looked down at his arm and said he had chills because that's how good it felt to him. The entire time, according to Gabby, she was crying and sobbing, begging him to stop. Meanwhile, back in Michelle's case, things didn't end after the essay either. She said Shannon started threatening her, constantly calling and warning her that he'd ruin her if she ever spoke out. She even said he stalked her, always reminding her that he was watching. That's when she finally filed a restraining order. When Michelle's lawsuit came back into the spotlight recently, Shannon's team didn't hold back. They clapped back hard, saying Michelle was just hopping on the Shannon hate train, hoping for a payout. His legal team brushed off her claims as old, exaggerated, and made up, calling them blatant misrepresentations of the facts. They insisted the accusations were baseless and said Shannon was ready to fight what they called malicious lies. As for Gabby's lawsuit, Shannon denied everything. He straight up called it a shakedown. In a public response, he said he was going to be fully open and transparent because, in his words, this isn't right. Shannon believed the whole thing was being orchestrated by Gabby's lawyer, Tony Busby, the same guy who once went after Jay-Z. He claimed Busby targets powerful black men and was about to drop a 30-second clip that would twist the truth to make Shannon look guilty and feed into every ugly stereotype people love to believe.
10 minutes and you reducing it to that 30, it must have been WWE in that joint. Elbow off the top of the bed, off the thrower against the dresser. You white little bitch, come here and suck big black dick. You talking about you want nigga dick? I get that part. I get it. Because I tell white bitches you want that nigga, but it's consensual. They agree.
He called out Busby directly, saying if he had the full footage, he'd release it himself. But since he didn't, he wanted Tony to release the entire video, not some chopped-up edit. Shannon also claimed that the encounter happened during the day and that Gabby had invited him over. He said it all felt like a setup, and even exposed that Gabby goes by Carly on OnlyFans.
This is a shakedown. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million, what they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
According to him, this was a planned hit job. He added that Gabby and Busby weren't just coming after his reputation, they wanted $50 million. But instead of getting that, he said they were about to get sued for defamation for trying to destroy everything he built. He wrapped it up by saying his whole career had been built on real talk and honesty, and that his fans and family already knew the truth. But here's the thing, no matter what Shannon says, the court of public opinion is spiraling, fast. And from the looks of it, he's starting to realize that this might not be just a media circus. If things keep heading this way, prison time is no longer off the table. From alleged hush money to multiple women coming forward, this situation is messier than anyone expected. And with whispers of setups, media manipulation, and million-dollar lawsuits flying around, it's clear this story is far from over. So now the big question is, will Shannon really face the consequences for all of this? Or is this just another scandal that'll fade away once the internet finds something new to talk about? But what do you think? Is Shannon being unfairly targeted? Or are all of these accusations finally catching up to him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories just like this.